Yeah, right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this video up. For some reason, it's not coming up. So give me 1 second.
That's the first test on this call, Josh.
Bro, I'm telling you, like, this is crazy. This is insane.
Josh about to get fired over Zoom.
Seriously. Seriously. You would think
before Josh, before we do that, Past Master Kelly, can you open the night in prayer, please?
Yes. To all my brothers at St. James Lodge on this auspicious occasion today, we are thankful for coming together in harmony. Lord, bless all the brothers that have arrived today together in order to celebrate today our 39 years, and the past masters that have come and have gone, and for those who are rising to that position. Lord, bless us and our happy homes that they may be flourished with the safety and the warranty of where they stand. And bless Prince Hall for that it may stand as strong as it has been for the years that have passed. With all these blessings I place in your hands today, we bring harmony with love and brotherly love with us today. All those things I place in your hands in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Past Master Kelly. Brother Feliciano.
Let's hope to see this works, because it's just, hold on.
Wow. Wow.
Thank
nice.
you, Feliciano.
Wow,
Good job,
lovely,
Josh.
man.
Got it working. Third time was the charm.
Excellent job. Excellent job.
So I will say, and Josh, I think we're getting just a little bit of feedback there, so if we could handle that. But yeah, past masters, I will first welcome all of you to 2020. This year has caused us to be much more nimble and adaptive to the situations and the things that are in front of us. For those that do not know, my name is PJ Ramner, and I am the current Worshipful Master of St. James Lodge number 114. It is an honor to sit amongst all of you today. I was talking to a couple of past masters last night, and we talked about how crazy, things are happening in the world right now. But I will tell you, with every challenge, there's always a blessing that's in the silver lining. We've had past masters nights in the past that we believe were successful events because one of the turnout and obviously the interaction that we've had. But I think because of the things that are occurring, one of the blessings that has occurred is we've had an opportunity and a chance as a lodge to adapt to the usage of Zoom. And more importantly, now have an opportunity, a chance to sit amongst all of you past masters that otherwise, if we did this in person, might not have had a chance to be able to see you, to hear from you, to learn your wisdom, and to gain your advice. So with that said, like I said, we have a great night ahead of us. The agenda for a little bit of this evening, we do have two special guests on this line with us. And then from there on, what I'll ask each past master to do is to just do a quick little intro of the years that you served in the East and the current state that you actually live in, so everyone can understand logistically how much accomplished this is right now. And then what we are going to do is we're going to have somewhat of a town hall. We're going to go into a little bit of a paneling on some questions. On this line, you have a lot of brothers here in St. James that have not sat in the East. They have compiled about 20 to 30 questions. We'll go through as much of it as we can within the time frame that I've set aside. And would really just kind of keep this as conversational as possible, but intend to have a really great time. At the wrap up of this, I will ask everyone, we are going to take a screenshot picture of this event here. We plan on framing that picture and saving it as well too. So that's just kind of the quick agenda for us this evening. But I'd like to introduce, first off, before we do any introduction, we did lose two brothers with us this year. So I will ask everyone, please, to just make sure your lines are muted and for us to have a moment of silence for the two brothers that we've had that have passed away. All right, thank you, brothers. I appreciate it very much. And with that, I would like to introduce our first guest for this evening, which is not only just a very well-known person to our lodge and a good friend to many of us here, but also a person that has helped me through my first year in the East, and I've always also turned to for help and advice as well. So that is our District Deputy Grand Master, Troy Jackson. So TJ, is TJ still on here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I see you right there. All right, cool. Yeah, TJ, if you can, just take a couple of minutes here and just kind of give us a quick overview of yourself and anything else you'd like to share. I'd ask you to keep it to about 3 minutes, and then we can keep the agenda going. Thank you.
A lot less than 3. Good evening, brothers. My name is Right Worshipful Troy Jackson. I'm the District Deputy Grand Master for St. James Lodge. I'm very proud of that. I came into St. James a couple of years ago as a District Deputy Grand Master. And it was a challenge when I first got there, but I felt that we, as my position and you as a brother of St. James, have come far and long to correct and make things much, much better. Now you make it so easy for me to do what I do when I have to answer to the powers that be above me, one being on the line tonight, who I love dearly. I am a past master from Silver Lake Lodge number 59 on Staten Island, years 2015, 2016. And I took this position running. And I, like I said, St. James Lodge has been a very pleasant task, a very pleasant task. And as I always say, if there are any questions, anybody has any problems, feel free to contact me. I am always open to be there for you. With that being said and done, I'd like to say thank you and have a successful past master night.
Thank you, District Deputy Grand Master. We appreciate you attending the meeting this evening. And we know we were supposed to catch up, obviously, many times throughout the year, but it's good to see you tonight and good to see you in good strength and health as well.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Being here tonight and enjoy tonight as well, too. And then past masters, I do have our Deputy Grandmaster Greg Smith Jr. on the line with us here as well too. And Deputy Grandmaster, thank you very much for being in attendance for tonight. You've made it abundantly clear that anytime we need your attendance or need your assistance, that you will be there, and I can reach out to that and explain that that is absolutely 100% true. And thank you for making the time to be here tonight. I did carve out a little bit of time, and you did send some things that you'd like to cover. So I'd like to pass it over to our Deputy Grandmaster for the next few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Worshipful Master, for this opportunity. And also, good evening to all the brothers of St. James Lodge. Hope everyone is well and are in good spirits. It's I know this is your past masters night, and I told the Worshipful Master first initially. He said to me that I think we spoke maybe a few weeks ago, and then he said that okay, you'll have 15 minutes, and then a few minutes ago he said that okay, you speak a little longer, but. I was kind of confused. He had me a little nervous there, but even though I have something I could go through, I can. Once I talk, I never stop. But I wanted to, have this opportunity just to, just say a few things. Of course, me being a Deputy Grand Master, we go through, kind of the formalities of the titles. But to be quite honest with you, I'm not a person that likes to, be called, say right, worshipful, anything of that sort. My thing is that, we're all brothers. We're part of a fraternal organization. And, my thing is that I prefer you call me Greg. We're not in the tile lodge or anything of that sort. You calling me by my first name is Greg. It feels that I'm more closer to you as a brother. And then in actuality, because we all meet on the level. And if people that, people that know me, I know that Usher knew me for quite some time. Troy, and a few others that have known me that, the thing is that important of this organization, sometimes it has been lost over, a period of time, is that the brotherly love, the structure of, in terms of, fraternity and how everything was built, founded, on our principles, family, brotherhood. I don't know what happened that sometimes over the years, things have changed where that some people, that have other, means and feelings of what, an organization like this is supposed to be of. The thing is that over the years, our organization has suffered because Prince Hall has not been the same as it been, 30, 40 years ago. And I'm sure that we have a number of, senior, past masters here that have been in the organization for over 30, 40 plus years. When you're looking at how things were in terms of Prince Hall Freemasonry then compared to now, things are a little different. Things have changed. The question is that are we as brothers are going to adapt and change along with this organization? The thing is that if we are able, to do that, where that with me personally is that I say I grew up in the organization. You could say, everybody knows, the person who I'm related to. Some people say I look like him. I think I look like my mother. But, I have the same name as him. So, of course, in terms of many different things that when you look at, learning and seeing, senior members, but at the same time, we're in an age now where we have, the millennials, we have the Generation Ys, the X, the Zs, and, on our organization as a whole, the thing is that what are we doing? What are we doing as brothers? What are we doing as a lodge, to maintain in terms of the bloodline? Because our organization, has been deteriorating, has been falling because of membership. We don't have, the same continual bloodline that we used to have. Some of us, in terms of some lodges, we have to be involved, more in the community so people can see what we're doing as Prince Hall, Freemasons. Because that's the only way that when they see us out in the community, they see us doing things. Individuals may say, hey, I like Josh. Josh is a great guy. He's a he does great work. I know, said Usher, he's been a mentor to me. And the thing is that when they find out that they're all part of Prince Hall Freemasons, that's what kind of draws us in. And I think that some of those things that we have to, basically just when you say go to the basics, the first thing to go to the basics is, working on us, us as brothers. When they talk about private animosities, don't know any private animosities exist. What are we doing? Are we, learning more about each other? Are we being there for each other? Not just only within our lodges, but in terms of in the districts. You're a member to the second district. How well do you know the brothers within your district? How well do you know your brothers outside of your district or just in this jurisdiction? Because the thing is that as a tree grows, you're looking at the roots. How strong are the roots? And the roots is not just one root, it's not just two roots. Just look at, it's several roots that holds an oak tree, together in terms of the foundation. That's how I look at, in terms of our jurisdiction of New York, and also how it looks at when we talk about the different, districts. Each district is a root of that oak tree of what we call, for the jurisdiction of New York. Brothers, and I also, just wanted to say, I know there's a couple of things I know I had a couple of sides on, but there's a couple of things talked about, in terms of leadership. And then in terms of the leadership,
My mic muted. It's okay. They can hear you.
It's funny. Brother Gordon, Brother Gordon said that. No, we can't hear who I'm speaking to. We hear you, so it's okay, Brother Gordon. It's okay to say they can't hear you. They can hear me, but we can't hear you. But the thing is that what I've been going around the districts and some of the lodges to talk about leadership, and there's like a couple of 3 slides that I know Josh heard my lecture on leadership. And I believe the Worship Master PJ heard it as well when I did it in mid-year. And I just wanted to touch upon, since this is Past Masters Night, and we have a number of past masters, and also we have, some brothers aspiring to be, in the East. And I wanted just to touch upon those 3 quick things. I know I only have like a few minutes to do it. Now, Josh, do you have those slides?
I got them. I'm going to go through the first picture right now.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can you see the picture?
Yep, I see it. Now, brothers, as you can see here, when we talked about change, how we're adapting to change. As you can see, the first, it says, who wants to change? And you see everyone raising their hands, because they want change. But then the question is asked, who wants to change? That's something in terms of a powerful, picture there when I look at it, is that a lot of times, we look at, people want to have change. They said, okay, what are we doing? We're not doing things differently. We want things to change. We do not like what's happening. And then from there, we ask, who wants to change? What I said, nobody wants to change. The thing is that we, in terms of adapting to what is going on in our lodges, in our organization, the question is that what are we doing with ourselves? We come into the organization, think it's be a rough ashlar. We come in Prince Hall, Masonry's rough ashlar, and then becoming, trying to work towards that smooth ashlar. Of course, we're never, going to be that smooth ashlar, but we're aspiring to be, right? Masonry is supposed to make good men better. The question is that, we come in, with our certain mindset, certain frame, but what are we doing? Sometimes we have to be adaptive. What is our adaptability? Now, look at, for me, an example is when you talk about tradition. Now, I grew up in a sense of learning from, senior members, older members have been in the organization 40, 50, something plus years, and they kind of instilled in me in terms of what tradition is. For me, being a Generation Xer, I'm kind of like, on that cusp. Some brothers look at me as the young, old brother, where that I do understand and want to hold tradition as we can have the senior members, here. But also I said, how can we bring something like that to the 21st century to attract the younger members and new brothers that will come in? The question is, how do we bridge that? And I know that I had to do some level of adapting and changing. I spoke to some of my senior past masters in my lodge in terms of, adapting, changing, in terms of, bringing new brothers in. Who would have known that 30 years ago that we're going to be having a meeting via this teleconference via Zoom? Right. We never even thought that we were going to have a lodge meeting, even though it's kind of like not a tile lodge per se, but whoever thought that we want to be in this place? It's about adaptability, about change. I've known some lodges that have, brothers who were dropped from the rolls, are now coming back and being active just from using this method of communication. And the brothers are realizing, hey, I've been missing the brothers for a number of years. I've been out, I've been doing other things. These platforms kind of help us in terms of changing. But the question is that a lot of times we're kind of stuck in our ways. We don't want to change because we said we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. But the problem is that if we don't change with the times, we're going to end up dying. Brother Josh, the next slide. Now, everyone knows Steve Jobs, because I'm sure everyone, has electronics, iPhones, and talking about Apple. And one of the things that since it is, Worship Masters, Past Masters Night, we all, like I said, been leaders. Now, one of the things, this quote that I thought that jumped out at me is that management is about persuading people to do things they do not want to do, while leadership is about inspiring people to do things they never thought they could. I'm going to repeat that. Management is about persuading people to do things they do not want to do, while leadership is about inspiring people to do things they never thought they could. Steve Jobs. Now, that quote there from him, I think speaks volumes, because we're in an organization, it's a voluntary organization. And then I'm sure that, a number of the past masters here, when you're in the East, what you've experienced, sometimes it was kind of hard to get some of the brothers, to do or to follow your vision. It's not easy. But what I've learned is that, a lot of times, brothers want to feel included. Brothers want to be involved, and the question is that when people follow leaders, they look at it and said, okay, I believe in this person. I believe in this guy. I believe in everything that he can possibly do. But also leaders end up instilling and empowering people. The question is, and I look at not only say just worship masters, I think we're all leaders. When you're talking about from the worship masters to the Tyler, to the brothers, to basically the brothers in the lodge, everyone is a leader. The question is that when we look at that, what are you doing to inspire? We have brothers in the lodges who were never past masters, who are leaders, and they are, they have been, mentors to brothers, have been doing things to brothers. I have several brothers who've done things for me who are never past masters that I kind of lean on because of their years of experience in terms of life experience. Every brother has something that they can contribute, to bring into the organization. And a lot of times is that we have to have that, that mindset where have inclusive for all brothers to do it. What are we doing to inspire brothers? And what are we doing to make brothers feel that they can do, things that above and beyond what we can do? Brother Josh, I think it's the last slide. Great leaders are not the best at everything. They find people who are the best at different things and get them all on the same team. Great leaders are not the best at everything. They find people who are the best at different things and get them all on the same team. Brothers, in our organization, it doesn't, fall on, the shoulders of one brother. It's all of us. It's all of us. And I think that, we have kind of, you can exit out of this, Josh, text. I think that we as brothers, that we have to lean on each other. We have to work with each other. We have to, when he said that we talk about surrounding ourselves with individuals. Now, myself, I know I'm not the best. I'm not saying I'm the smartest, person or anything of that sort. I know that I have weaknesses. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. But the thing is that I am not, I don't look at in the sense that being kind of, I'm usually humble when I say, I don't know. When I don't have an answer to the question, I'm not afraid to say it. But I think that sometimes, we have individuals, we have brothers that, I guess is maybe, I don't know if this is a macho thing or testosterone. They may be afraid to say that they don't know, and I think that is, to show, or at least to, and say to someone that, hey, I don't know the answer. And I said, I'll get that for you. I think that's always a huge step that will help in terms of having, number one, is the credibility factor. When you have young brothers or anyone that's looking at you for help or support, if they said, hey, I don't know, and you go and get it, they said, okay, they're showing that humility, the humility side. I don't think that we have enough of that, but also every brother to work hand in hand with one another. When I talk about leadership, and like I said, I have a whole big presentation and things about on leadership, but I think that, being as a past master tonight, just to quickly, touch upon it, but also something for the young brothers to hear as well. I think that as an organization, we can move these things to greater heights. We've done, we in the midst of a pandemic right now, and I know there's a lot of things that, we were able to do, but I think also this helps us as brothers to kind of sit back and reflect, to kind of, reflect, okay, what are the things that I can be better? What are the things I can do better? What are the things I can do better once, this pandemic, passes, once we're able to meet in person. And this is a time to reinvent yourself. This is a time to come back as a different person. If you was a different person where that, sometimes you were angry, destructive, or anything of that sort, this is the time to reflect and say, hey, I can be a better person. What I can be a better brother and a better man. Because this pandemic has made us all humble. We have lost many friends. We lost family members, and to be quite honest, I think I lost about 4 people in, my friends and family due to this pandemic. And I tell you, it's a humbling experience. And also being away from my brothers, and speaking to, being there in front of my brothers, I kind of missed that too. But at the same time, I said, okay, when I come back, what I can do, to be better, what I can do to help. And I think that hopefully this can bring us, better together and more together, as an organization. Brothers, I can, continue to talk all night on this, but I just want to, to say, thank you to all the brothers, for your support. Just me, like I said, I didn't even think that I was going to be in this position, as Deputy Grandmaster. And the reason why I'm saying this is that when I came into the organization, I joined this fraternity, because I wanted to know more about Freemasonry. I was a 5th generation, Master Mason. And, prior to that, I was a member of a Greek-led organization. I'm still a member of a Greek-led organization. And the thing is that I just wanted to, join Freemasonry to learn, this is the mother of all fraternities. And then I end up joining. All of a sudden, 9-10 years later, I find myself in the East. And, I find myself in the East. And then from there, still, get pulled, doing some work, and then doing stuff in the district. Of course, I, was head in a different house, was just potentate in the shrine. I was doing it at the district level, doing other things and working under, as assistant CCFC as from Most Worshipful Past Grandmaster Solomon Wallace. And what's interesting is when I was working under him, and I just wanted to work with him because I said, hey, this is, just wanted to do some work, and I wanted to just learn some more things that you cannot find in a book, okay? And that's I'm gonna say, brothers, is very important. If you have members, senior members in your lodge, take this time to get to know them and to talk to them, because there's history, within these brothers. Because I can tell you that I've learned more things sitting down with, one of S. David Bailey, and I'm sure that everyone knows Right Worshipful S. David Bailey's out of my lodge, Boy Lodge number 1. By sitting there listening and learning stuff from him, that things that you cannot find in a ritualistic book, sitting there, with Most Worshipful Past Grandmaster Solomon Wallace, and being with him, working under him for like about 8-9 years or so before he had the confidence in me to put me at CCFC. Those things are valuable because the thing is that it kind of molded me kind of to who I am now today. And, what was interesting is that I had no desire initially running on the Grand Lodge line. I had no desire whatsoever until, I had a conversation. I'm sitting down with Past Grandmaster Solomon Wallace, and we're going over, things from a different jurisdiction. And he says to me, he said, Greg Jr. And I said, yeah. And he said, have you ever thought about, getting on the Grand Lodge line? And, and I said, no, it hasn't crossed my mind. And, he told me, he said, well, I think that it will be a good opportunity for you to do so. So I'm, of course, I'm, first, I kind of sit back and I wanted to hear more what he had to say, because every time I always speak to him, there's always information that he's feeding me and teaching me. So I asked him, well, why do you think that? When he said to me is that, I've seen, the stuff that you've done. I've seen the, how you, talk to people, how you treat people, and the work that you're doing. And, I've known you, since you was a, little kid. Maybe it's you can make a change or do something in terms of with the organization, that maybe your father could not have done. And, and I was like, well, what is that? He said, well, you can be, the bridge builder. You can be that person where that if you know enough senior members, and of course, as you being, based, because of your age, you can speak the language of the young brothers, that a lot of times you can be that bridge builder in terms of bringing the organization, in terms of having that tradition, and bringing that tradition along with, kind of new into the 21st century. And I said, and I kind of sat back. First, I was humbled, because of it. And, and it had me, some time to think about it. So I, like I said, I, made a call, to, my father, and I'm telling you the reason why I'm going with this is that I made a call to my father, and I said to him, I said, hey, Dad, I was speaking to Saul, I was with Saul, and he said I should, run for Junior Grand Ward, to get on the line. And he's like, he said, really? He said, well, what are your thoughts? And the first thing I said to him, I was like, well, first I was kind of humbled because, he saw something in me that, I wasn't even, saying, because to be quite honest, I was just happy to be a brother. I was happy to be a brother, happy, in terms of doing things, just working, just being that worker bee, doing certain things. But I felt humbled because he saw something that I didn't, and which, in terms of leaders, sometimes leaders see things or, see things in brothers that they may not think. And when I use that quote, in terms of that Steve Jobs quote, where that says what management is versus what leadership is. Leaders inspire brothers, doing things they thought they could never do. And when Saul, instilled that, and I, call him Saul affectionately, when he told that to me, it had me thinking, because, I look at, any position that I've taken, I never take it for granted, because brothers have the faith and instill in me to lead, to be that person. So, with brothers, like I said, in the lodges, and I spoke to brothers in all the lodges, that, the young members to speak to the senior members, and also your senior members, I know that you're doing this now, is that mentoring some of the young brothers, because you never know, the next, young brother that comes into the organization may be, the next grandmaster, because they're looking at you, they're looking at what you're doing. A lot of the brothers here that I've seen, like I said, moving up into the organization, that I've seen the work, and I sit back and I take mental notes of it, because at the end of the day, I know that I don't want to let anybody down in terms of my work and what the things that I do. And the thing is that with the brothers here, when I always go around, when brothers call me Right Worshipful, no, the thing is that my name is Greg, because past Grandmaster Solomon Wallace always told me, he said this to me, that the greatest title that you can ever, call a person in Masonry is brother, because we all meet on the level. We all meet on the level. And that's my, my concept, my thought process is that we all meet on the level. And I think that we have that mindset and we can be that oak tree. Like I said, New York is that oak tree. And each jurisdiction it turns out is the roots. And then you can also look at the lodges as also, being part of that as well. But we have to make sure, brothers, that our roots are strong. And it starts within the lodges first. It starts with ourselves first. And then it goes from ourselves. Then it goes and builds into the lodges. And then from there to the district and to the jurisdiction.
Agreed.
So, so with that being said, Worshipful Master, again, thank you very much for the opportunity just to quickly speak. I'm sorry that I went through this. I'm sorry because, like I said, I can get on a roll. But, brothers, and like I said, if anyone knows me, you can always reach out to me. I'm sure that everybody gets my email address, my emails that I send the blast. If you don't, hey, I'll put you on that email distribution list. But if anything that you need from me or anything you talk, and also I can learn from each and every one of you. I learn from every single brother, that comes into this organization because, like I said, I don't know anything, and I can't do anything by myself. Only can do it the best of you. So, Worshipful Master, Brothers of St. James Lodge, St. James Lodge. Let's say number there because I had 38 years in my head. Because 38 years when I even mentioned about 38 years and say congratulations on 38 years. But if anything you need from me, I am here for you. Worshipful Master, brothers.
Thank you. Yeah, W. Grandmaster, thank you so much for your attendance this evening. We appreciate it. Thank you for sharing with us those slides, your opinions, and a little bit of the history, that you've experienced yourself. And to all the past masters on tonight, that's what tonight is for, right? We've had some challenges earlier where we haven't had as much communication with our past masters that we would like to, and even some other brothers that may not be able to attend tonight. But we're going to continue to keep trying to bridge that gap. Because each of you are an important piece of the steps that we take and how we mold who we are moving forward, right? We are on our cusp of celebrating our 40th anniversary next year. And to be in this position right now, 39 years, looking at another 39, 40, 50 years in front of us and making those plans starts with the roots of those that created where we stand right now. So without further ado, what I'd like to do, and Deputy Grandmaster, thank you again very much for taking the time out and sharing that with us. What I'd like to do is I'm going to go down a list of all the past masters that we do have here. Past masters, what I'll ask you to do is as I say your name, please give us the years that you served in the East, and then also give us the city and state that you live in currently right now. So I am going to start with Past Master Fulmore. Unmute Past Master Fulmore. And then Past Master Fulmore, please give us the years that you served in the East, as well as city and state that you resided in.
Okay, I served, I was the second Worshipful Master St. James Lodge number 114, serving 1982, 83, and also came back in 1998. I also served as treasurer of the lodge for many years when I was a master. And now I'm living in the good old state of South Carolina, in a little small town called Lake City, South Carolina. And that's the home of Dr. Ronald E. McNair, one of my classmates, class of 1967.
Very nice. All right, brothers, you see where our vacation is next time, right? Where everybody's going to Past Master Fulmore's house. So
Come on down, in the room down here.
All right. And next up, I got Past Master Russell Hill. So Past Master Russell Hill, if you could unmute yourself and just give us the years and city and state.
Okay, thank you, Worshipful Master. Again, my name is Past Master Russell Hill, and I served in 1985 and 1986. I was the fourth Master of St. James Lodge number 114. I'm presently living in Vanceboro, North Carolina, on the east coast of North Carolina, eastern North Carolina. And I just want to thank everyone for being here, and it's so good to see everybody. It's just good to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here, Past Master Hill. And we look forward to seeing you up here during the wintertime with some snow so we can give you a little.
Oh, well, now. Okay.
All right, Past Master. Next up, we got Past Master James Usher. So, Past Master Usher, if you could please give us the years that you served in the East, and obviously city and state that you live in as well. We're gonna, yep.
Thank you very much, Worshipful Master, and to the Deputy Grand Master and the District Deputy Grand. Let me correct you, suppose the District Deputy Grand Master and the Deputy Grand Master. I'm so glad that I'm able to participate in this Past Masters Night. I am the second youngest Past Master of St. James Lodge. Although I say the second youngest because I just came into St. James Lodge about 2 years ago. And I became past master. Imagine a past master in 2 years. But seriously, brothers, I had belonged to a lodge that was chartered in 1923, just 6 years short of making its 100 years of existence. And unfortunately, through loss of membership, struggling to keep the lodge going, we lost our charter and we had to surrender it. And I decided to join a lodge. And the lodge I chose was St. James. And why? As I explained to the brothers just Saturday, Sunday gone, St. James met on a Saturday night. And I was tired of going to meetings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Our lodge met on the first Monday. The club meeting was the first Monday, and the lodge meeting was on the third Monday. The shrine, as I remember the shrine, I met on the fourth Monday. And all the lodges that I visited always during the week. And so I loved St. James. I said that was nice. I knew most of the brothers. I knew all of the past masters that served St. James Lodge back in the 80s. I even gave the past master that came out of office recently the white apron that was given to all visitors of St. James Lodge when the lodge was chartered back in 1981. I enjoyed being with the lodge. Deputy Grand Master, this lodge has young brothers that are teachers, instructors, and brothers that are willing to learn. You have an ambitious worshipful master, you got a secretary, very talented secretary, and he has a line behind them that they are willing to learn and they're willing to pass information on to the brothers. And this is what I cherish most about St. James Lodge. And brothers that are online, I tell you, abuse them mentally. Try to get as much information you can get, because one of the easiest things is to be elected worshipful master. Like I told our deputy once, any fool could become an elected worshipful master. But you got that knowledge. You got to know how to manage your lodge. You got to know how to deal with the brothers, because they're all individuals and you got to work with them. We are fortunate that I said we have great brothers in this lodge that are willing to teach, learn, and you have a deputy grand master. I think he may be the only or the first CCFC that never served as a past grand master. Because when he became a CCFC, the past grand master, the CCFCs were all past grand masters. Bill Richardson, Cooper, I'm getting their name. Who?
No, past master Usher. I'm gonna ask you. We're gonna go into the rest. I just wanted to know if we could just do a quick intro and then we'll come back. Yeah, we'll come back.
I have nothing else to say, you know what I mean? And I don't finish right there.
Well, so I got you. Past Master Usher did serve in the East in 1985,
1986, and 87. Right. Those days, you never heard nobody serving 3 years.
Right, and he did join St. James. What he didn't tell everybody is he joined St. James Lodge number 114 because he found out that I was going to be the worshipful master coming in the following year. So he's like, he had to join this lodge because there's nowhere else he was going to go. I kid you. I'm kidding. Past Master Usher, thank you. We're going to come back to those stories as well. Moving on up, Past Master Harry Green. Past Master Green, if you could just unmute your line there. You are muted, so you're just going to have to hit the little microphone button to unmute yourself. Josh is going to send you a request to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. If you can, just please give us the years that you served in the East and then also your current city and state that you reside in.
Okay, yes. Good evening, brothers. It's a pleasure to see you all and be a part of this. I never thought I'd be able to join you tonight, but my son helped me, and I'm glad to be here. Okay, I first served as worshipful master in the year of 1987. I was fifth worshipful master, and I came back again in 1999 in the year 2000. I currently live in the town of Utahville, South Carolina, about an hour and a half from Past Master Fumo. And brothers, if you ever down in this area, please let me know.
Thank you, Past Master Green. We appreciate that. And thank you for being here. And if you heard us earlier, the memo is vacation by you and Past Master Fullmore next year, so we know where we're. There we go. Appreciate you being on, Past Master Green, and we're gonna start filling in some questions here. I do not see Past Master William Hill. I think he might be having some issues joining in here, but he did join, and Past Master William Hill was the.
He can still hear you.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Yeah, he was the Worshipful Master St. James Lodge number. He was the Worshipful Master in the year of 1997 for St. James. So thank you, Past Master Hill, for being here as well. And I'd like to move it over to Past Master Steve Harry. So Past Master Steve Harry, if you want to unmute that line really quickly, give us the years that you served and your city and state.
Yes, Worshipful Masters, Past Master Brothers, is a joyful feeling to see all your brothers here. Anyway, I served in 2008 as Worshipful Master. I live in Brooklyn, New York, and it was a wonderful ride during that time. And I'm sorry that we have to meet this way, but I can't wait that we could meet in person sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you, Past Master Harry. And Past Master Harry is also the marshal of our lodge. So if anybody acts up, you know who you got to go to. So Past Master Harry, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, I keep you in check.
Yeah, how that voice got real deep real quick, right? I'll pass it over to our treasurer, Past Master Ivan Kelly. Past Master Ivan Kelly, please.
Yes, good evening, my brothers. Thank you very much for participating and joining us today. I served as Worshipful Master 2009, and what an experience. I reside here in Brooklyn.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Brooklyn and out.
Exactly, where the 2nd District lives very strongly.
Thank you very much, Past Master. Thank you very much for joining tonight and for our previous meeting as well. And we have our Past Master Banks, which is also the individual that brought me into Masonry when he illegally parked in front of my driveway. And I saw the emblems on the back, and I said, hey, I should figure out who this guy is. So Past Master Banks, go ahead, please, man. Introduce yourself and give us the years that you served in the East, sir.
Yeah, and I'm not going to let you get off the hook that easy because you was trying to go up to 23rd Street. And I snatched you up and brought you back to Brooklyn.
That was it.
Yeah, I'm Past Master Darrell Banks. I served as Worship Master from 2013 and 2014. And I currently reside in Staten Island, New York.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, Past Master Banks, thank you. And we do have one of my favorites, my main man, Past Master Kenny Barton. Past Master Barton.
Hey,
good to see you,
Martin. Hey, what's going on, brothers? What's going on, brothers? I don't know if y'all can hear me that well.
We can hear you well.
Clear.
All right.
Yeah, please go ahead and give us the years that you served, and then I'll tell everybody about the nickname Past Master Teddy Bear. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, we gonna forgot about that. That was last year. We're not going back into that. All right, yeah, Past Master Barton, Kenny Barton, reside in Brooklyn, born and raised in Brooklyn. 2015 was my year. I served right under Darrell Banks, after Past Master Darrell Banks. And coming in after Darrell Banks was an experience. Like that. It was definitely an experience. But yes, been with this lodge forever. I stopped counting the years after my 2nd year. But yeah. I don't know what else to think. Don't know what else to say, but yeah.
Don't worry.
2015 was my year.
We got a ton of questions for you to answer, so there's gonna be a lot to say. So appreciate you joining Past Master. And then our most recent Past Master and my own brother, like I've always explained, we're all brothers, but I can tell you between me and this guy, we've never. I think the only thing that separates us here is probably a difference in blood, but nothing else changes. So Past Master Jason Blades. Appreciate you joining as well, too. If you can unmute your line and give us the year that you served, and we'll get started.
Good evening, brothers. Past Master Blades. I served last year, 2019, and I currently reside in Brooklyn, New York.
All right. All right, lots of Brooklyn, lots of fun folks. So past masters, the reason why I asked everyone to give us where you reside in is logistically for us all to understand how impossible this would have been if we didn't utilize Zoom for this meeting, right? To have brothers from North Carolina, South Carolina, and all these other places to be able to join us is historic. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go into asking some questions. We have on our line here as well too. We have our junior warden, Anna Prasad, our deacon, Javon Greenaway, our junior deacon, Casey Gordon, our secretary, Joshua Feliciano, and myself are all not past masters at this point. We've compiled a bunch of questions. And really what I want to do is I'll ask brother by brother to come on and just ask one of their questions. I'll forward it over to a past master and we'll start from there. So the first question I'll come to is I'll go to brother Javon Greenaway. So brother Javon Greenaway, you gave us a couple of questions here. If you could just pick one question that you like to start with, and then I would actually ask past master Fulmore to please be the first one to answer, and then we'll kind of shift it on and go back and forth from there. So brother Greenaway, if you want to unmute, and then go ahead and give us your question.
Okay, good evening, brothers. Good evening, past masters. Pleasure to see all you gentlemen in one place. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know. So it's just good and an honor to be here with you, brothers. I had sent the questions to the secretary, so I'm just gonna look at a few of them before I ask.
Okay, that's cool. I'll start with one real quick while you get that one together, brother Greenaway, and past master Fulmore. So I'm gonna turn this one to you first. Being the second worshipful master in St. James, you obviously came through an abundance of an opportunity of growing this lodge and how to really position this lodge, as all past masters have gone through. What was your first initiative that you took as the worshipful master of St. James Lodge, as the second worshipful master? What was that first initiative that you took to help the lodge start the year off in the right way?
That's a good one. I think
I don't get paid the big bucks for nothing. We got to put the questions together.
One of the first things I did was try to get the brothers together coming in. And like when we first came in, we didn't do any initiation degree work. But during my year in 1982 was the first year that we did all our degree work. We brought in 3 new candidates. We gave them all 3 degrees, but we had help with the 3rd degree. And that was one of the great things doing that. Again, all of us learned our work by memory. That was one of the best things that, and we try to, each year, even when I came out of the East, I tried to instill in the brothers that they need to learn their work so that we won't look bad when we have guests coming over to do our work, especially in the opening and the closing. And that was one of the things that we worked on, the opening and closing, during those years, to make sure that we could get better and better in opening and closing. So, because we came over from international masonry, so Prince Hall was something new to us. We didn't do commit to memory. We did read out the book.
Right.
And we came over to Prince Hall, and that was a brand new thing for us. And all of us had to learn, in order to learn the book as well. And that's one of the things that I'm glad that we were able to do. And then we were able to pass that on to other brothers also that come in, that to try to learn the work as best as you can. We know that they have the same capability of learning, but do your best, and then we will move on from there.
Thank you, Past Master Fulmore. I appreciate that. And degree work is still a major thing that we always talk about. I think if there's anything that we talk about in a lot of our meetings, it's making sure that our degree work is always on point. And it's good to hear that it started from the beginning there. Past Master Kelly, I'll move over to you. What was your first initiative taking the East that you took on to really help the lodge move in an upward trajectory and progress further on?
Well, again, what had happened for me is that everything was passed on to me. And of course, being passed on and having the leadership, or I should say the wise counsel of my past masters, it gave me an opportunity and actually to sit in that oriental chair and be able to just join us together as family. Again, the work was already laid out for me. And believe it or not, I came in as a newbie, as they say, and through learning through my past masters and all, it gave me as they say, the inspiration in order to unite us even more closer.
Beautiful, love it. Thank you very much, Past Master Kelly. Appreciate that. And I'll shift this question over to Past Master Banks. Past Master Banks, you came in during a very integral time as well too, where the lodge was transitioning on an age standpoint as well, and obviously held the lodge. What was your first initiative you took on joining the East?
My first initiative was to put together the toy drop that we're currently still doing at Downstate Hospital for the pediatric hematology cancer patients. And this is an event that every time we do it, it's gotten bigger and bigger. And I know that we put a smile on everyone's faces, and it puts joy in our heart to be able to give the way we do. So that was my biggest initiative coming into the lodge.
Appreciate it, Past Master Banks. Thank you. So I'm going to move it over to Brother Greenaway. And Brother Greenaway, the first Past Master that I'll answer. So this question will be posed to Past Master Russell Hill. Greenaway, please go ahead and give your question. And Brother Casey Gordon, please be prepared to ask the next question. Go ahead, Brother Greenaway.
Okay. So my question is, how many seats did you sit in before you got to Worshipful Master? And what was your favorite seat on your journey to the East?
Can you hear me? Okay, sure you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, it wasn't like I had a whole lot of seats to fill when we came over, because like Pastor Fulmore said, when we came over to Prince Hall, we came over as a lodge, and Past Master Simmons was the father of the lodge. Then we had Fulmore, and then Past Master Johnson, and then myself. Now, I came over as the secretary from the other side. So that was my seat. So, and while I was secretary, I was elected as the Worshipful Master. Got in line, became Worshipful Master. And then from that point, I went back to secretary. So again, it wasn't like I had a whole lot of seats.
Right.
You know. But at the same time, you know, and I want to piggyback on what Past Master Fulmore said. When we came over, we tried to stay together as brothers, and we had a reputation. And we were called the James Brothers for nothing. We weren't called the James Brothers for nothing. And when we walked in a place, we had to impress, and we walked in with our tache cases, and everybody took notice. So. But again, you know, it was a pleasure, and we tried to come into Prince Hall and make a name for ourselves. And I think that's what we did. We laid the foundation. The founding members, we laid a foundation, and I can look at it now and see that foundation was strong, because St. James is still strong.
Still strong. Yes, Past Master Hill, we appreciate that. It's interesting to see you go from secretary to Worshipful Master. And then back to secretary again, because all of those pieces are very integral. It's an integral piece to it works. So I'm going to move the question over to Past Master Green. So Past Master Green, same question to you. How many seats did you sit in before you became the Worshipful Master, and which was your favorite?
Well, brothers, I served in most of the seats in the lodge, being appointed junior deacon by Past Master Fulmore. I served there. I served as senior deacon. I served as junior warden, senior warden, and then elected Worshipful Master. It was a pleasure to serve the lodge, and as my initiative was to try to get greater participation in the lodge. That being that at the time we had low participation, tried to get the brothers to come out, trying to get the brothers' importance of opening and closing the lodge. Mm-hmm. You know, these things are important. If you can't open your lodge, then you can't put your program in place, you know. Right. But, you know, it was a pleasure to serve St. James Lodge in the seats that I served. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Past Master Green. I appreciate it. This one over to Past Master Barton. So, Past Master Barton, how many seats did you sit in before you became Worshipful Master? Which one was your favorite?
I moved up from I ran the gauntlet. I ran the whole line from junior deacon all the way up to worshipful master. And I would say my favorite seat, oddly enough, would be the junior ward, because it was very, very, very much involved with outside of the lodge and just trying to bring brothers together, for picnics and parties and whatnot, and really getting to meet everybody outside of outside of the lodge and really hanging out. That's where I really started clicking with brothers outside of the lodge, and really started, forming great friendships with a lot of good brothers.
Nice.
But on a side note, I did want to say, I came in to St. James, and St. James was already certified one of the badass lodges. And when I came in, the level that we had to step up to catch up was incredible, because we had Fulmore as our past master. Fulmore was our instructor, and we talk real humble about past master Fulmore because he's a great brother. But a lot of y'all don't understand. He was a tyrant. He did not let up. There was no walking into class and not knowing your work. Nah. It was just not happening. And it shined. And he made sure that we shined every time we stepped up and we did our work. And you weren't quoting from a book like he said. You were memorizing it. And it got to the point where we were going to everybody's houses. Look, we need to make sure this works, because, I don't feel like being there all night getting chastised by this man. But, God bless my love.
That's a football. You burned it into his mind. There you go.
Yeah. Banks could tell you, and Kelly could tell you, because it was that, brotherly love stepped out the door when it came to the work time. It was time to get it done. Nice. But yeah, that was my shining moments for being in that junior warden seat, and getting an opportunity to work with a lot of good brothers on the side.
Beautiful. Thank you, Pastor Master Barton. I appreciate that. Casey Gordon, our junior deacon, are you? Are you prepared with your question there, sir?
Yeah, I got mine right
here. Your question, we're gonna turn that to Past Master Harry. So Past Master Harry, Junior Deacon Casey Gordon will ask you the first question. Then Anna Prasad, you'll be asking the next question.
No problem.
All right, Past Master Harry. What was the strongest words of light that changed your perspective on how to carry yourself as a man and as a Mason?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. My strongest word of light, I would say, is where you put your faith. And putting your faith in God. When you understand what that actually means, it encompasses everything. If you don't have faith in God, then you can't really have faith in yourself. You can't have faith in anything. You may think you do, but you don't actually do. So I would say that was my most profound word of life in the Lodge, to have faith. Always believe that God is there. God is walking with you. God is with you. So I learned that note.
Appreciate that, Master Harry. Thank you for that. Past Master Usher, same question to you. What was the strongest words of light that you received that changed your perspective on how to carry yourself as a man and as a Mason?
My strongest, again, was faith. In that when I came into Masonry back in Belize in 1971, we had to learn the work, but at the same time too, we had to, you could become a member of the Lord if you weren't a member of a church. And when I left Belize and I came up to New York, I found that the worship master, all the lodges here, had a Sunday we had there, but the whole lodge invited the district, brothers of the district, to go with them to church. And we were reminded by the past masters that when we took an obligation, the obligation was first to God, and then the Holy St. John. So we were constantly reminded, in whom did you put your trust? Your trust being in God, your faith is well founded. Yeah.
Thank you, Past Master Usher. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I think that's a sentiment that we all share here. And Past Master Blades, I'd like to position that same question to you, Past Master Blades. What was the strongest words of light that you received that changed your perspective on how to carry yourself as a man and as a Mason?
I wouldn't say necessarily a particular word or sentence or phrase or anything like that. For me, when we were brought to light in the first degree, and Worship Master, you were right next to me. The brothers that were there that performed the degree were so on point, and this goes to again knowing the work, like Past Master Hill said, and it really instilled like this undescribable feeling and experience that was just really life altering in the sense of makes you really think of the world in like just a different way. That particular moment, I remember there were a lot of brothers there. We had a lot of visitors that day too. Actually, a lot of the past masters here, I believe, were actually there for first degree. And Past Master Banks also brought me into St. James. So, ever since, it's been, for me, it's been I wouldn't say a struggle, but I've always strived to make him proud in this craft, more especially than just all the brothers of this lodge. And especially some of the other past masters that have been there through my journey, Past Master Barton, Past Master Kelly, TJ, right, Worshipful, Troy Jackson. You guys have been there for the journey, and as I got to know more of the past masters and stuff, it's like every time I thought that I got to a point that like I was like, okay, I'm good now. It's like there's always another challenge coming, and I embrace that, and I like that. So I wouldn't pin it down to one phrase.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's the same sentiment that I'm seeing as well too. Appreciate that, Past Master Blade. All right, Junior Warden Anand Prasad, your question, and that question is going to actually go to Past Master Russell Hill.
All right, so I'm gonna read off mine as well. So one question I have is, since most events are in the hands of the Junior Warden, what's the best event that you've had, and what made it a success?
The best event that we had, I had, that was the question?
Yes.
Okay, one of the, I don't know if it's the best, but one of the best events that happened was when we first got into Prince Hall, and like I said, when we came from the other side, we were reading the books. So when we got into Prince Hall, everybody was reciting everything, didn't need a book. So one of our first events is when we gave those degrees, and we came out there and we recited everything without the book. And that was very exciting and very impressive. And we kept that going, and we got better at it as time went on. So that's one of the best things that I really got out of that.
Very cool. Thank you, Mr. Hill. And I'll move that question over to Past Master Kelly. Past Master Kelly, what was since most events are in the hands of the Junior Warden, what was your best event and what made it the most successful?
The most successful and the best event that we had during my term was our family night, which we invited our wives and our girlfriends out in order for us to celebrate them. So to be able to engage our families of the people that are significant to us, because we're out there at these meetings at all different times of the week and all different times of the hour. It seems as though that when we put that black suit on, our families say, "Oh, here you go again."
Here you go.
All right. Okay, and again, there's always those tales that follow us. But that night that we had was a night to celebrate. Well, as it stands now, we have not created another event like that as of yet. We have attempted,
Wink, wink.
not yet. And we're trying.
All right, let's see how 2021 goes, and I'll do my best to put our foot forward here to make it happen.
Pastor Kelly, I have a question for you real quick. So who was the one that was in charge of that disco that we keep hearing about?
Hey, no comment.
So similar question, and I'll actually pose this one to Pastmaster Barton. Pastmaster Barton, same question to you. A lot of events pass through the hands of the junior warden, but what would you say was the best event for you during your term, and what made it the most successful?
During my term?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
the most memorable event had to have been when we had the St. James United. Oh man. To be able to see all the different lodges, the St. James lodges all come together under one banner, because we all had, different meeting times and different days when we meet each other, and to be able to have everybody come together and meet on one night under the same banner of St. James was just incredible. It was incredible.
Beautiful, yeah. And, I definitely remember that event.
Yeah, the fact that we drove out to Jersey for that, and it was just. At first, it was like, all right, I really had no idea where we were going, and then when we got there, the size of that lodge it was real impressive. It was a really nice time. Nice time.
You were the first worship master to actually have that event, correct?
Yep.
Yes, it was. I was privileged enough to be the worship master when we had that event, and that's one of the pictures that's up on my wall. I take full advantage of that, and it was crazy. It was an idea that me and Jerry had sat down and we had talked about having for a long time, because we had all these different lodges that were in the first district and in the fourth district, I think it was, and they all named St. James. we don't know any of these brothers. We can't never travel to their lodges because they met around the same time that we did. So we decided one day, we should make this happen. And sure enough, with Pastmaster Banks and Pastmaster Henderson, we made it happen. It was an amazing night.
Nice. Love it, Pastmaster Barton. Good feedback on that one. And I think we just had Pastmaster Fanfare join, if that is correct.
A pleasant good. I just came in from work. I'm sorry to be late, but better late than never.
Better late than never, Pastmaster Fanfare. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining Pastmaster. That we're gonna fumble around some questions here, and that we're posing here. So I'm actually gonna ask you a question, Pastmaster Fanfare, and then we'll move it along. And then Josh, I'll ask you to get the next question ready, okay? But my question is, what brought you to Masonry, Pastmaster Fanfare?
Actually, I grew up in Masonry. I'm just following my dad and my older brother's footsteps.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's good to see a legacy. You hear a lot about the legacy, yeah?
From a young age, I was involved in what we call the juvenile section. And I left my country at the age of 20. I couldn't join the lodge at the time, so as I came to America, I seek a lodge, which was St. Cecile at the time, but then after St. Cecile closed, Usher said we should join St. James. So I following my senior pastmaster, James Usher, footsteps and guidance.
Appreciate that very much, and we're happy to have both you and Pastmaster Usher here. Pastmaster Harry Green, same question to you. What brought you to Masonry?
Well, I started hanging out with some Masons, namely Pastmaster Simmons, brother Pastmaster Fulmore, and Pastmaster Hill. And we became friends, and they got me interested in Masonry. So Pastmaster Fulmore decided to give me an application. And I said, well, I'll be glad to join. So that's how I got involved.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. And you're referring to past Master Charles Simmons.
Charles Simmons, yes.
For those that are on this line. So, and then also, so I'll pose that same question to past Master Usher. Past Master Usher, what brought you to Masonry? What got you interested in joining Masonry?
My situation, I was a custom officer. I was a junior custom officer about to take an exam to become a senior custom officer. And I was working out at the airport. And at the airport, you have people in transit traveling to and from the country, passing through. And I was also a track athlete, and the president of the association suggested to me that I should join a lodge. And I said, no, I'm not joining that dumb organization. And he told me, he said, all right, he said, promotions are slower when you're not belonging to this organization. And I witnessed that, and so I decided to join. Came and I moved from the office to the airport, and that's where I started. I was taught to give all the signs. Well, the first sign I knew was only the entered apprentice degree sign. Right. And I can say it because I'm not going to demonstrate it. They used to ask you if you saw a small dog with a short tail.
Yeah, small dog. Yeah.
And I gave the sign while I was out on the ramp, while the people were passing through, and I'd be surprised to see how many men said hi to me and spoke with me. And that's where it went on from there,
Thank you, Past Master Usher. I appreciate that. I'll pass this one over to Past Master. It looks like he disappeared there. Past Master Banks, are you there?
Can I interrupt a second?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead, right where Troy Jackson. Go ahead first before we move up to Banks.
Quick question. What were the years Past Master Fanfare was Worshipful Master?
So Past Master Fanfare over at St. Cecile was Worshipful Master in the year 1999 and the year 2000.
Very good.
Yep. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. So Past Master Banks, the question is to you now. What brought you to Masonry? You brought me to Masonry, but what brought you to Masonry?
Okay, I'm the 4th generation Mason in my family. So my great-grandfather, my great-uncle, my father, and myself. So, my mother was also an Eastern Star, so, I always was intrigued about it, but never really got interested into it, in it until I started working with Kenny McDonald, Past Master McDonald, from our lodge, and so that's when it piqued my interest to become a Mason, and it's been a great ride ever since.
Very cool. And I'll pose a question to one more person here, Past Master Blade. A little bit on the newer side. What brought you to Masonry, and what intrigued you to become a Mason?
I always thought that there was more to the information that was out there and easily accessible. I've been going to church all my life. Did Sunday school, been to college, did well, all that, and I just felt like there was something that was just missing to tie it all together. I just didn't know what it was. So I went looking for that. I would always look for that. And then finally, when we became Masons, I feel like it sort of satisfied that interest, but not completely, because as all of you know, every meeting, every day, every conversation, whether you've been in the craft for 2 years or 20 years, you could always learn something new, and I love that.
Right.
So you know, I think that is what I was looking for, and thankfully, I think I found it. I haven't found the answer, but I think I found a path to the answer.
Very cool. That's great feedback. Brother Feliciano, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and ask your question, and this question is going to be for Past Master Fulmore.
Actually, thank God you picked Past Master Fulmore, because he's probably the only one, him and Past Master Hill is probably the only ones that can actually answer this question. So looking back at the history of St. James, like you mentioned earlier, this lodge came over from International. My question has to do with before you came into Prince Hall. What happened that made you guys leave International and come into Prince Hall, and start this whole new journey in Masonry? That you know, I mean, you guys had to come into the occasional, and you guys had to form this lodge, and just what made you guys make that move?
Well, in International, we went to Grand Lodge session in Louisiana International. And what happened was that we didn't like the way that they treated one of the candidates that were running for junior grand warden because of something that his lodge didn't do. He couldn't advance, and then he tried to say that he would take care of the fence there, but they wouldn't let him do that. So at that point in time, the Lodge, we were St. James Lodge number 163. All of us, we stood up and we walked out. And after then, that's the main thing why we decided to change. And then after that, passing out to Charleston and started talking to some guys from Prince Hall. And they directed us to past Grand Master at that time, Jordan, who kind of molded us and got us straightened up to a club form. And then we petitioned Prince Hall Grand Lodge at that time. And basically, that's how we came over, because we got fed up with the situation that went on at Grand Lodge session.
Gotcha. Past Master Fulmore, and I'll pose this question to you, and then I'll ask Brother Greenaway to be ready with the next question that we'll be featuring on there, okay? Past Master Fulmore, with that said, as you came over to Prince Hall, what was the reaction to you and the brothers that came over and created St. James Lodge number 114? What was the reaction on the Prince Hall side of you guys coming over to this side?
Well, coming over, the first when we was trying to come over, we thought it was, we was trying to get stationed in Queens, where most of us lived in the Queens area. But at that time, they had one lodge in Lebanon. At that time, they had some older past masters. They decided they didn't want us to meet as a lodge in their building. They wanted us to join their lodge. But we were like 13 members strong, brothers, and we didn't want it to go that route. So then that's when we went over to Brooklyn. And then Brooklyn, they really accepted us very well. We had Esteban Castillo was our special deputy that worked with us and did us most of the training. And I think just the second district just welcomed us with open arms. And we had a great time with the fellowship with the second district. And that's how we became in the second district also.
Very awesome. That's really great history, Pastor Fulmore. I appreciate that. Brother Greenaway, I'm going to pass it over to you for your question, and I'll ask you to pose this question to Past Master Steve Harry. The question was, what were some of the changes that you implemented from the previous administration when you went into these?
Well, I would say I did not really make any real major changes because the lodge was running so well at that time with the previous brothers. But what I tried to do when I was in the East was to reconnect with the sick and the shut-ins, the brothers that wasn't coming to the lodge, that we couldn't get to the lodge, find a way that we could get them interested in coming back and reaching out to them. Because a lot of times we forget about our brothers who don't frequent the lodge. And a lot of times we don't reach out to them. You know, even though, you know, we know brothers and we don't pick up the phone and say, well, I haven't heard from this brother in a long time. Let me call him and see if all is well with him, if all is well with his family, if he's sick, what he's doing, if he needs help, you know, in whatever way. So that was the thing I tried to do that we wasn't doing. we knew they existed, but we wasn't really reaching out to them. So in regard that, I would say that was one of the things that I think that I tried to do that we didn't do.
Got
basically,
it.
and in other areas, yeah, basically that
thank
was
you.
it that I really tried to reconnect. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you for that. Thank you for that, Past Master Harry. That's definitely an important piece to it. Past Master Fanfare, serving in 1999 and 2000. Change of the years there. But what did you do? And what changes did you implement from the previous administration when you took the seat in the East?
I had in my first year as master, I had three affairs that was stand out. I continued our visit to a lodge that was introduced to me in Philadelphia. I can't remember the name.
Lemon Goggins.
Lemon Goggins Lodge. And we took up close to 30 people to visit them. And they return, they visit later on that year with over 50 people.
Wow. Indeed.
Wow.
Secondly, I wanted my wife to see what the brothers does, so I had a ladies' night where I invited the sisters and open lodge with the brothers, better half. And every female that was there were presented with a gift.
Nice.
I can't remember who was the guest speaker that night. Usher, would you remember?
Too old.
Was it? Huh?
I'm too old.
And thirdly, I was the second most seller at our boat ride that we normally used to give every year. There was some Archer brothers that was very prominent in bringing out the crowd, but I was destined to sell the most ticket. I came in second.
Very nice. Past Master Fanfare, I appreciate that. So we'll move that question over to Past Master Barton. Past Master Barton, talk to us a little bit about what were some of the changes you implemented from the previous administration?
I don't remember there being any real changes that were made. When I was coming in and Daryl was going out of the East, it was a transition. It was you and Past Master Blaze that were coming in, and there was a couple other brothers that were coming in, and it was a real big, I won't say conflict, it was the young bucks coming in with all these new ideas, and they were the bucking of the heads and just keeping the peace between the old and the new was the thing. Because it was like all the young brothers they were all, you guys were just, full of piss and vinegar. Y'all just had to get it done. Yo,
that was the time.
I don't think we were that bad. I don't think we were that bad.
Oh no!
Man!
It was trying times. It was trying times.
It was something else.
About it, the great thing about going through all of that and whatnot, and then coming out on the end, and look at where we are right now. You brothers took over the lodge, and I had watched Four More step away, and I had watched a couple other brothers step away, and they weren't around anymore, and they left it out in my hands and the bank's hands and whatnot, and we were able to pass on what we got from the generations before to you guys, and then when we step back and take some time away, you wonder coming back in the building later on 10 years, 2 years later, you're like, oh God, is my lodge still going to be in one piece? And you come back and you guys have done an amazing job, to know that I had a little bit of a hand in there with, the cultivating of you guys in Masonry. It just comes down from good training, great breeding from St. James, the original St. James crew.
I got one comment about that, right?
Here we go.
No, listen, honestly, I could say from the time I became a Mason under past Master Banks to you and Jerry and past Master Worrell, like, as much as we debated things and direction to go, we debated it. I think we had productive conversations, number one. And number two, everyone was on the same page. So there was like a real smooth continuity all along, right? So like it was always like building blocks. Like we built on each other. I can't speak from before, I was a part of this lodge, but I would say that I don't think that any initiative that we've done could have been done without the building blocks from before, just because there was always that level of continuity. We always took one thing and built upon it, right? So
I give you that much.
I don't think it was as embattled as you say.
Oh man, it was a trying time.
It was definitely a trying time.
It was a trying time.
I do agree that the transparency is, I think, what helped us. So even as it's, you think about it like a family, right? You can argue and fight with your family, but when we're outdoors, we don't fight with each other. We fight for each other, right? So
exactly.
Really to make sure that we implemented those changes.
Worsh, real quick, I need to ask Barton this question because I want to.
Oh, Barton, you hot seat now, man.
What did you feel honestly in your time in the East was probably the most challenging thing that you had to deal with, other than the keeping the balance? What would you say is that challenge that got you like almost wanting to like, yo, I can't keep doing this?
Honestly, the most challenge for myself was public speaking is not my forte. I really, really have a thing with public speaking. So, and there was at the time it was Past Master Fulmore was on my right, and then you had Past Master McDonald on my left. And these brothers were the ones that were teaching me and going, look, we know that you know this, so we're not trying to hear that. You're gonna be scared, and it was tough. It was tough. And then you had Past Master Simmons also in there. And you all know Past Master Simmons. He's he make it known how he feels. So it was tough. Making yourself stand out as a leader and being amongst all these real leaders. How I felt, and it was like it was a tough transition for me. But as the year went on, it got a little bit more smooth for me. But again, my issue was my biggest challenge was making sure that we stayed unified. That was my biggest thing, because like again, there was a lot of new young ideas coming in, and you guys had great ideas, and we weren't implementing your ideas. But it wasn't because we didn't like them. It was because we were trying to follow a path that we were taught. It was a humbling experience to watch these guys go through their whole transition of, I've been doing this for a long time in my college, and I own my own company doing this too. All right, I need you to stand down for a minute and then learn something. I got what you're trying to teach me, but I can do this. Yeah, I got it. That you can do it, but we got a path where we like to go down, and it was. I wouldn't change any of it. Put it like that. I wouldn't change any of it for the world. It was some crazy time, but it was definitely a humbling experience. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I think one thing that Past Master Bart and I had talked about when we met up last, which was I believe your birthday, right, Past? I think it was your birthday that we met up.
Yeah, something. I think so.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about was and that this was before I came into the East, and one of the things I said was like I remember my days of like when we first joined and that passion that we had to, especially when we first came, was we already see where like the things went wrong. Let's change it. Let's just make the change happen. But as I've been a part of this lodge, and obviously as I've taken my seats in certain positions and places, but as you see the inner workings of the lodge, one of the things you understand is that change can happen, but it has to happen in its own time. You have to give it its time for it to occur so that you don't alienate anyone from this lodge, because at the end of the day, we can have a bunch of different changes and a bunch of innovative things. And I always tell you guys this, but if we don't have the people to back and support the ideas, then whatever we put forward is irrelevant. So, and I think that's something that I learned, and that was through multiple conversations with Past Master Barton and many other folks when you guys know I'm pretty heavy on things that I want to do.
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
Past Master Usher.
Worshipful Master, the Past Master, I think, caused the most problems in St. James Lodge over the life of St. James. And I say problem in that it was good problem. Was Fulmore. You see, Fulmore came into this organization, and when he came in, he was a perfectionist. He did all, I could speak about it because I saw him. He did all his work as master.
He taught me well. He taught me well.
He was, I think he may have been the only brother in that lodge that does installation. He did burial. He moved in the Eastern Star, did their work. He ran against the second district for the office, enshrined them as what's the bottom line? The prayer man, I think it was, and he won. Or
prophet.
Huh?
High priest and prophet.
High priest and prophet, and won. He won against the district because he was a new brother, new in the area. But what happened is he did his work. Yeah. And when you do good work, you're gonna get people behind you at those, especially in those days. And he has carried this lodge, to heights that there are few could stand up, behind him and say, or in front of him and say, well, I did better work or good work. And it's good that you could always talk about a man like him, give him his praise right now. He's still alive.
Right. Appreciate that.
Did good work, great work.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
great work.
Pastor Fulmore.
That's the one thing I'd actually love to hear from Past Master Fulmore, because I know that I'm used to him coming for elections for his yearly check, make sure everything's so. Yeah, I'm curious. How do you see the progression from start till now? Because, like I said, I've always been used to you, maybe not necessarily being there every meeting, but you make sure that you make it known that you're there. You will be there. So it's something that goes along with that. I'm curious about your outlook of the progression from start to present.
Well, right now, like I say, I left New York in 2010. I think Kelly was Worshipful Master when I left. But I'm very proud of the Lodge. During my time, from my time till the Barton boys came in, they built on what we started. And now you guys taking it to another level, a whole nother level. Like this, what tonight, I never thought I would be seeing, this happen. And just like I always talk to Past Master Green and Past Master Hill, about the Lodge, and how they doing. And I said, man, a lot of those guys, y'all don't even know. I said, some of them I don't even know. But every year, at least I've been coming up there at least once or twice a year and trying to make a meeting. If I don't make a Lodge meeting, I'll be at a club meeting. And I'm proud to see that with the Lodge, we did great. We did good from we started. We had our 25th anniversary. We had a nice showing. And now it keep building. And where you guys have it going, you got the website. I'll be telling Green and Russ, I'll be going on the website. So I don't know a whole lot about computers, but I still, I do know how to get on the web and search. Like, I see what you guys be doing, and and I've been saying, wow, those guys really doing a great job. And to me, I'm very proud of you guys. You're doing a great job, and just continue to work. And hope that when you have that 50th year, I'll be around to come up there and enjoy you again. But I will be, as soon as COVID leave, I'll be there. I'm not there.
All right.
All right.
That's what we look for. And so past masters, we're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour, and I don't even think we've gotten through maybe a third of the questions here, and there's so much more. But obviously I don't want to keep everyone on too late tonight. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up now, but it doesn't mean that we can't do another session like this, and it doesn't have to be a huge.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Event, but it could just be a great time to just have a conversation. This is the first step to
most
bridging
definitely.
Yeah. So what I will ask is I am going to ask each past master to take about 30 seconds to a minute and just leave us some advice for the live, for the future of it moving forward. And I'm going to start with Past Master Blades first. I'm going to work my way all the way back to Past Master Fullmore. So I will ask, please just take about 30 seconds to 45 seconds, 30 seconds to about a minute, and just leave us a quick, notion of advice of, here's, something that you're cool that we accomplished, but something you'd like to see us moving forward. Any nugget of advice is always great. So Past Master Blades, we'll start with you first.
I like the direction that the lodge is going in. I think there's a lot of capable brothers coming down the pipe. I have full confidence in our current line that they will step up to the task. I would say just when you have an idea, definitely push for it, stick with it, be persistent, but at the same time, listen to those that came before you, and make it happen, whether it be exactly as you envision or maybe modifying it a little bit. Nothing's impossible without just nothing's impossible. For me personally, I have a saying that I would say, it's that it's always easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission, right? But at the same time, you got to be cognizant of who you're representing, because being in the East is not about you. It's about brothers that you represent in this lodge and keeping up a reputation. And if something's not right, say something. Ask for help. So that's my advice. Be persistent. Try to do what you want, and keep the best interest of the brothers that you represent in the lodge. Because being in the East is not about you; it's about the brothers.
Well said.
We appreciate that.
That's my piece.
Thank you, and I'll pass it over to Past Master Bar in 30 seconds to a minute. Past Master Bar, give us some advice. Closing remarks.
I say what I always say. My phone is always on. My phone is always on. I hate the fact that I can only meet with brothers on conference calls or whatnot because, family permitted. My family comes first. I had to take care of my family, and it took me away from Masonry for a long time. But if I could say anything, just stay in contact. Stay. Some of the best friendships I've forged was out of Masonry. And it's been like that for a long time. So stay in contact with your brothers outside of the Blue House. It helps form a lasting relationship in Masonry. So when it's time for you to move up the line, you have more confidence in brothers that are coming, along with you, because you already know that the brother behind you is just as capable of doing the job as you are. So, just really, that's the most important, to stay in contact with each other, especially with the way things are. People dropping off real crazy, and then you don't want to be the one making that phone call talking about I wish I had done something more. So stay in contact with your brothers and do your best every time you get an opportunity. And on another note, ladies' night has to happen.
We will make it happen.
You cannot be the only past master that has had a successful ladies' night.
We will make it happen. We will make it happen. We will make it happen. All right. Thank you, Past Master Barton. I appreciate it. I'll move it over to Past Master Banks. Closing remarks and advice, Past Master Banks. For the
Okay.
lodge and all those coming forward.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Barton and Jason. Being Worshipful Master is not about you. It's about service. Service to that lodge and service to the community. Now, one of the best things that you can do as a Worshipful Master is to be able to communicate and bring people together. Also, when you're talking about service, it involves actual work. You have to be willing to work. If you're not willing to put the work in, it's going to show. And it's not going to look good. Believe me when I tell you. Kenny, Jerry, and all the brothers that Fulmore have taught, you know excellence when you see it. And you know when you see it. So, with that being said, put the work in, brothers. We ain't about no.
Appreciate you, Past Master Banks. Thank you very much, sir. And Past Master Kelly, same thing to you. 30 seconds to a minute. Can you give us some advice of what you feel like the lodge can use moving forward?
Yes. One thing that's most important to any worshipful master is to be able to bury their brothers. We, as a St. James group of men, we need to have a designated person or people in order to be able to honorably bury our brothers. That's something that really has to exist in the future.
Appreciate that, Past Master Kelly. Thank you very much. And Past Master Harry, I'll move it over to you. 30 seconds to a minute. Piece of advice and a little nugget to leave with this lodge as we continue to move forward into our 40th year anniversary.
Yeah, what I would like to see, Masonry is not just about title. It's being true to yourself. It's not just the light that you get in Masonry, but the light that you bring to your brothers. Another thing is reaching out to your brothers.
Appreciate that, Past Master Harry. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Past Master Fanfare, same question to you. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to a minute. Give us a little nugget, a piece of advice on what we can do as a lodge moving forward.
I would like to see St. James do two things. Soon as this COVID die down, I'm gonna piggyback off of one. Ladies' night.
Okay.
The sisters and your better half and whoever they want to invite. Ladies' night. I spoke to you once, Worshipful Master. I made that suggestion, and I'm willing to work with you on that because I'm very good at that.
Okay.
Secondly, is let's reach out also to the public. That feeding program. Those are the things I am very good at.
Okay.
The feeding program and ladies' night. I say that to say this. Masonry have taught me so much that myself and wife, Usher can verify on this. Myself and wife undertake 60 sexually molested kids in Guyana. And for the last, 9 years, this 2020, we started in 2009. For the last 11 years, we single-handedly supply those kids with what they need. It started with just food. Now, the wife is sending down 2 and 3 barrels from school supplies to the personal needs to having those young men and women look decent today. Those are things I would like to see we give some feeding and the ladies' night.
Thank you very much, Past Master Fifth. I appreciate it very much. And I'll move it over to Past Master Harry Green. So, Past Master Green, can you leave with us 30 seconds to a minute, some advice and knowledge for us as a lodge moving forward?
Yes, brothers. It's good to see how the lodge has grown since I left there. I left there in 2003. My advice is to keep growing your lodge. As worshipful master, you should give the brothers a reason to come out to lodge meetings so that they'll know what's going on with the lodge. Learn the history of Masonry outside of the lodge, you know. And if you don't grow your lodge will die. So many lodges have died since I left there. So we gotta keep growing our lodge. Thank you, brothers.
Thank you, Past Master Green. I appreciate that. And Past Master Usher, same for you, 30 seconds to a minute. Can you leave us a little bit of advice for all the brothers moving forward?
Brothers, I believe that the main duty of a master mason is to bury the dead. And if a brother dies and only 3 of us show up there after that brother has been to so many meetings, missed so many nights at home with his family, and only 3 can be there, something is wrong. So I believe that you must make the sacrifice to bury your dead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Past Master Usher. I appreciate that very much. And I'll move it over to Past Master Russell Hill. So Past Master Hill, if you can, just unmute your computer there.
No, we need to just come together and put God first in our lives. That's number one. And once we put God first in our lives, and that Bible that we open up on that altar, we follow it. And abide by those rules and be an upright man and mason and walk amongst men, and people will look up to you. And we got to come together and strive to do that a whole lot better, because they're taking God out of everything.
Amen.
So we got to come together and be together and walk upright as men and masons, so people will look at us as leaders in our communities. Look at us as the men who we are, black men, white men, whatever. We should be looked upon in that favor as God. So I'm just proud to look at the lodge today and see where we've come from and where we are today. And it's a good thing. And it's a good thing. We just have to keep this thing going and just keep your brothers together. And hopefully we can get together one more time, just like we're doing now.
I agree.
And we can keep this thing going. Thank you.
I agree. Yeah. Thank you, Past Master Hill. I appreciate that very much. And thank you for your presence this evening as well. And I'll leave it up to Past Master Fulmore. We are about to step into our 40th year anniversary. Any advice that you can leave for this lodge, for us moving forward, and nuggets that we can take to continue on this path of this lodge?
First of all, I'll say I'm very pleased with the lodge and what you guys are doing, brothers are doing now. But in the future, brothers continue to have that brotherly love with the brothers and do things together. The picnic is a good thing that we normally do. I know you guys just continue to do that. That's a good thing to do, where that all the families, we can get to meet the family, because it's bad when all your brothers get together and then you don't know the families. So that's a good thing to do. And then as the brothers try to go to the east, you should learn your Constitution. So you know that, because that'll help you a long way. You know what you can do and what you shouldn't do. And what's your master? As you in the east, you have to give brothers a chance to say something. Just listen to them, but you don't have to do what they say, but let them listen at them and give them the respect, because in order for you to get respect, you have to respect them. Because a lot of worship master gets up there, I'm the worship master. But if you don't have no brothers out there to full those stations, you just that's all you are, just a worship master. So continue what you're doing. Look like you guys are in great shape, and I applaud all of you brothers for the work that you're doing. Like I say, as soon as I can, I'll be up there to see you in action. I think I saw a couple of brothers in action, but I'll be back soon as possible. Again, I appreciate the letters, the invitation for tonight, and again, thank you very much for inviting all of the past masters to this meeting tonight. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Past Master Fulmore. I appreciate that as well. And what I'll ask everybody to do is we got 2 things left, and then we'll close out with a prayer. But I'll ask everyone to sit up right in front of your camera. What we are going to do is typically when we close off Past Masters Night, we all get together, we stand up in front of the East, and we take a huge picture. But when we talk about adaptability and making the changes, this is one way that we're all going to be able to get a picture together with each other. So I'll ask everybody to sit up straight. Past Master Barton, yeah, I think it's the only one that works right now. All right.
You had to change the camera back around. It's kind of funky.
That's all right. It's all right. If you could just like maybe get back a little bit, your head's right in there, okay?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I know it's a lot
perfect. There you go. All right, so Josh is gonna go ahead and take a couple of screenshots. So it's probably gonna be about a good 30 to 45 seconds. So just smile, sit upright until he gives us the word that he's done. Okay? Go ahead. All yours.
All right, give me 1 second. Here we go. Give me 1 minute. All right, we're good.
All right, Josh. Thank you. I appreciate that. And past masters, before we go to our closing prayer here, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes, and we're a little bit over time than what I thought we would be. But on behalf of myself and all of the brothers, that are not past masters, we want to first off thank you guys for being here for this night. This is probably one of the most meaningful meetings that we have had outside of obviously the other work that we do, but to be able to sit back and listen to the stories of your experiences, your past. I will tell you, sitting in the East right now, some of the things that you talk about are still in existence of the exact same things that I've gone through in my first year. And this year has been an anomaly. It's been weird, right? It's been a crazy first year. But there's always something that I think stays consistent with sitting in this seat. I am humble. I am proud to be here. I am honored that I was selected to sit in this East and take on the challenges of this year and for our steps going forward. I am proud of the 39-year history that we currently have right now, with the future of what we have that we can bring, with the ideas and the amazing talent that stands behind me right now and in this line, but the amazing talent that's coming through. I think you guys are going to be so proud of where this lodge is in the next 10 years and 12 years and 13 years. We've really implemented a ton of changes. Those changes are not possible without your support and without your help and your guidance to help us get to where we are. So on behalf of everything and everyone here, I want to thank every single past master, our District Deputy Grandmaster Troy Jackson for taking the time out and joining us tonight. I'm grateful for that as well. And Past Master Fulmore, you said it, and I say it after every meeting that we've had on Zoom, our club meetings, our state of communications when we had it in January, February, and March. I can come with a ton of ideas. I can come with a ton of energy. I can come with a ton of gust and wanting to make a lot of things happen. But if the lodge is not here, and if the individuals do not exist to help us make those changes happen, then it will not exist. And you are absolutely right. We can sit in the East, but if there's no one sitting in the West and the South, and there's no other brothers sitting around the lodge, sitting in the East, you're not accomplishing much. And I am honored to be serving this lodge right now. I'm grateful for this Past Masters Night of 2020. I thank you all. We will absolutely set another night up. It's not going to wait until next year. I will set another up where we could just have a good time to talk and continue on this type of conversation. So thank you all. I appreciate it. We will be sending out the screenshot that we got from each of you. Brother Feliciano will be reaching out to each of you to make sure we have your right address, your right email address, and your right telephone number and contact information. This is a great first step for all of us being able to have our past masters active again. And I don't intend to lose this momentum at all. Appreciate you guys, and thank you for everything that you've done to help us get to this day right now. Means a lot to us. So thank you very much. And I will ask Past Master Kelly to please lead us out with a prayer this evening as we close this meeting tonight.
Lord, blessed Father, I come again as a humble servant to you. Lord, thank you for allowing us to come together in harmony. Lord, bless all of the families, all of these brothers, and all. Bless our life. We thank you for providing us with the strength and the energy in order to survive each day. Lord, be able to bless us as we continue to travel as our comings and going. Lord, thank you. Thank you for bringing us together as men, as your men. And as we come to this end of our day, we wish to be able to thank you again and thank you for the grace that has been placed upon us. With all these things that I place in your hands and my humble servant as you are, Lord, bless us again and thank you. Amen.
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 Past Masters, thank you so much for this evening. I appreciate it, and have a great rest of your weekend. And be on the lookout for additional communications, additional invites out to our meetings. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight. It truly means a lot.
Thank you, Worship Master.
I know.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was going to say, I know.
Hey,
boys. James, boys.
The only difference between our James boys and your James boys is the way y'all spell boys.